Yeah, so today I have with me an Alexis. And then I think it's just last week that I did a different kind of analysis using the seasonality. I hope it benefits you all. I actually tracked down my results for last week. It was actually pretty awesome. I hope you have actually banked some wins. Essentially, some of the trades I'm going to recommend this week. It is uh, in line with what we have done last week, and obviously some has changed along the line. So without further ado, let me share my screens. All right, so let's jump back to the usual analysis of my currency indices. Now, again, please bear in mind that last week I was using seasonality and this week I'm using currency index. It's a different form of analysis for both. Yeah, so some of it might not be aligned. Yeah, and each kind of system does has its weakness and strength. So now, let's look at the Aussie index. Now, just going to be upfront for you this week is that there is nothing particularly strong for whatever I'm ranking this week. Yeah. So, but I still have to rank them accordingly, right? So there's nothing that's clear cut strong, but the way that I rank is strong for this week is purely on speculative basis. Yeah, it's because they are due to their price action or their horizontal level. Now, top of my list will actually be the Aussie index. You can see that price has two really ugly week for the past few weeks. And in fact, just last week, and it's on a pretty nice horizontal level for the Aussie index. Now, if price on Monday, right? So Monday is going to be key day for me. It does not actually close below this level, and it actually bounces off. I would say that Aussie is going to be really strong for the next week or so. Now the yen is in pretty similar as the Aussie. You can see that even ever since from 2022 October, it bounced off this level once, and then just pretty recent November 23rd, and now it's back on this level again. Now, is it going to bounce off? I don't know. But like I mentioned earlier this week, I don't have anything that's particularly strong. It's speculative because they are on a particularly strong level. So I'm going to say that yen possibly might actually bounce off this level. So one, two, this is third time, might happen a fourth. I don't know. So Monday is going to be a key day for me for Aussie and yen. I'm just going to observe them, see what they do, and I'm going to take a trade on Tuesday onwards. Next is Swiss. So Swiss is third on my ranking. You can see that price, it has not really touched 110. It might actually went below, or it might just take off again. Yeah, so again, horizontal level is not a science, right? It's there to guide us. So you can see that the last week it has shown us it has a pretty long tail. Yeah, so it might just take off again all the way to 115. Oh, sorry, 113. Yeah, so keep a lookout for this top three pair. Now, in the middle of nowhere, we have the dollar index. Again, dollar is just wavy, not particularly sure where it wants to go. But if I were to speculate, then the DXY is going to fall, simply because in the past, it did actually reject this level 3 times. Had a break, and then came back down. Yeah, so I'm much more favoring that it's actually on the downside, going to the downside. Canadian index really is just bouncing between two levels. Look, if I have nothing really favorable to trade, either I stay out or I rather trade at a horizontal level. CAD is one of those pairs where I'd rather stay out. It's really just in the middle of nowhere. British pound in a pretty similar situation as the Canadian CAD is that it's really bouncing between 130 and 120. It's really in the middle of nowhere. Usually I tend to stay out of this pair unless I have a particularly strong reason to trade. Let's see if Alexis fundamentals do bless us with some insights into the British pound. Now the Kiwi is actually much more clearer to me. You can see that it has broken the $60 level. For daily or 4 hour or even 1 hour, maybe I'll stick with the 1 hour and 4 hour. It does have some good 3 to 1, 4 to 1 trade line up. Yeah, you can see that price might just drop all the way to 57 before hovering a bit. Yeah, so bear in mind I'm on the weekly chart. So H1 and H4 does have plenty of trading opportunities. And the last on my list, which I deem the weakest, is really the euro. You can see that recently it just rejected off 110. Well, it's a very recent rejection, so I'm saying that it might have a good chance to go all the way to about 104, 105. Yeah. So really, I'm going to the weakest on my list will be the Kiwi and euro. So what do we have on this week? Let's have a look. Some trades I'm going to take, possibly lining up Aussie Kiwi. So you can see Aussie Kiwi in the previous week, which I'm doing the seasonality. I've decide to trade long, indeed price gives us more than 3:1, easily 4 or 5:1. I'm going to say that as long as price got to bounce off this level again, it is a very straightforward trade. Then I'm going to take another long trade. So in this case, the technicals and seasonality does line up. Euro Aussie for last week, you can see that I decided to trade off this level. It would have been a stop loss, and then price actually shoot up to a higher level, which if you have taken, it would easily be a 3:1. Now this week, I'm going to say the same thing. I'm going to wait for price to retrace to this level or a higher level before shorting the euro. So again, why am I shorting the euro? I've ranked euro pretty low and Aussie pretty high. So I'm just going to wait for some sort of retracement before shorting this pair again. Euro Swiss. Now, what I'm waiting is pretty straightforward, at least to me, is if you can see it, it'll be a head and shoulder pattern. So again, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. If it does form, I'm going to take this trade. Did try to short it in the past. In fact, last week, it didn't really work out. So I'm just going to try it again this week. Hopefully, the technicals will give us a better entry. Euro yen. Last week, you can see that I long it easily 4 or 5:1. And then this week, give us a higher low, second higher low. I'm just waiting for a bearish bar to appear, and then I'm going to short it. Now, let's have a look at Kiwi Swiss. You can see that Kiwi, against Swiss, I rank up with the top 3, got to strengthen. Kiwi and Euro is on the weaker side. So I'm just going to short Kiwi. Now, in this case, this pair is not so straightforward. Right, I did short it here, didn't really go very far. In fact, I was stop out. Now, just going to be a bit more patient. We got a, if it does give us a bounce off here, it will be the first lower high. I'm going to wait for a second lower high before I attempt to short it again. Right. Otherwise, you can see that Kiwi Swiss is not exactly one of those trendy pair. Yeah, so it's best for price to actually break the structure before we attempt to short it. Now, Kiwi is much more straightforward. Last week I long it. It has given me the 3:1, very kind of it. Now this week, you can see that price actually reversed. This will be the high, lower high, second lower high. So I'm just waiting for a bearish bar to appear to convince me to actually jump into the short trend. Okay, so this will be the few currencies that I'm preparing to actually trade for the following week. Bear in mind, for technical analysis, I'm only doing for the week ahead, not exactly the whole month or whole week. So with that, I am leaving it to Alexis. Let's see if she can give us some new insights.
Right. Thank you, Lloyd.